Hello teacups, what's brewing? Welcome back. Lovely to see you. Hope you've had a lovely day. I've actually had a really lovely day. A bit clumsy earlier. I went to the store to get some milk, because coffee, and the bag that the milk was in fell off my counter and smashed the bottom, and it was in another bag, so I was like, oh no! I saved about half the milk, but it was everywhere. I just had to mop everything out, because you know milk, it goes bad. And but I did have a very productive afternoon. I replanted all my garden because I was just patio and tile outside, and it's a little bit like a prison yard. But when people final exit here, maintenance comes and completely rips out their garden. They don't leave it for the next people because they give, it goes as a blank canvas, and they leave people the option. So yesterday there was a massive pile of plants, and I was like, oh, they're doing that. And as I went past today, there was some in pots that they had left, and a couple of aloe plants that I guess they just didn't want to deal with moving, and they'd taken the rest of the trash away. So my friend and I went into the empty apartment garden and just stole all the plants. And I replanted my whole garden. It looks really good because, like I said, mine was not great to look at. I'm so pleased with it. I put a little video up on Twitter if you're interested, but it's so nice just to have something out there. I think I'm going to get a little table and chair so I can be out there with my coffee. It's going to be lovely. So that was my day. I'm a little bit worse for wear for it, but glad I did it. Apparently that was a little bit more productive than Foodie's day, but when isn't it? We've got Nashville chicken hangout that I've edited down. I've got about 10 minutes of footage because genuinely that's pretty much all that was there. Now obviously her last live ended with a very official sounding knock, and she cut the live. She didn't come back for a whole day just to let speculation grow, and now she's back, and we were waiting for an explanation, but oh let's get into the video.
I'm feeling very slow motion right now.
She was so slow, she was slurring through most of this. She had smoked, she said, but she didn't do it on screen. She did take a break at one point to do it off screen, and we'll talk about it in a little bit. But she was very, very slow through this whole thing.
No, my entire room is not clean, but I started in on it.
I was hoping the whole room was clean because I was going to be impressed, but later she moves to the bed. I think I cut that out, and you can see like the box that was behind has just been shoved to the side, so I'm guessing most of the stuff is just in the closet or the other side of the room. But it's so nice to have a clean background, and I was saying before, like, even if you just shove it out of frame what you're doing because you're on camera, you know? So it's nice that she did.
Jinx, am I high? Honestly, I haven't left my room.
It doesn't surprise me.
No, it wasn't the cops.
So this is a lie that she'll go into a bit later, and we'll discuss why it's a lie, but it was a lie. She also very purposely, because clearly everybody was going to have questions about what had happened. Everybody. And last time something like this had happened, it was the cops. So it would have been a much better idea just in terms of, honesty with the audience, which I know is a bit of a foreign concept here on Foodie's channel, but to just say, knowing that everyone would be asking, to just start it and say, hey guys, I know you're concerned, this is what happened. Whether it was a lie or not. She had been offline for a day, she had time to think of a lie, she clearly hasn't at this point. But you don't get to mention it in that, no, it wasn't this, but not explain it. That's just her playing games.
No, I've just been in the mood to just stay in and just take care of my house. And
again, she admits later that the whole room isn't clean. So take care of the house.
Nothing's wrong, Jamie. I'm just low energy right now. You guys are probably not used to that lately. I haven't been eating the healthiest, so I need to get back on that.
Yeah. Get back, but she's about to have 2 chicken sandwiches from Burger King.
So I really want to do some videos where, I've been showing you guys a lot of beezing, so I want to show you guys some healthier behaviors too.
Would love to see it. I don't think we're going to, but I would actually very much love to see it. Please do show us those things.
Hi Liliana, yeah, I've been okay, no relapsing, but no, I'm not addressing. Sam, I'm not addressing any of those stupid go off camera to sniff. Excuse me.
There is a clip that exists showing her off camera. It could be blowing her nose, it could be sniffing some stuff. And if you're not going to address it, don't address it. Don't read it out and then say, well, I'm not addressing it, and roll your eyes because it's so ridiculous. You have admitted to doing those things off camera. It's not ridiculous to think that we heard you do it off camera. And whether you agree or disagree that she did it, whether it was just blowing her nose, whatever it was, it's the attitude of, if you're not going to address it, don't address it. Why are you reading it? And why are you giving this attitude? And it makes me just feel like it's more of a lie, because there's no need to make a production of it. Just ignore it.
No, it wasn't a cop. That's all I'm going to say.
It's not all she's going to say. And she deleted a live after this one where she very much appears to admit that it was a cop. So, you know, we were talking about the difference between failure and lies over the last couple of days. This would be an example of a lie.
The rumors are so dumb.
Dumb, true, same difference.
And they're going to be around for like ever.
Because the truth doesn't change and it sticks around.
But I do need to do a schedule because I've just been like wasting away in my room.
Yeah. It doesn't sound particularly healthy to say wasting away. I can believe it. But this thing with her moving her filming into her bedroom, I thought it was a really good idea when she suggested it. She said she was going to stream on Twitch and do things, and I didn't think it was going to get that far. I thought it was a really good idea because it would give Pete proper ownership of the communal spaces instead of her taking over the kitchen, instead of her sitting next to the fridge, because that just encouraged everything to be around food. Now we've got bigger problems and they're centered in the bedroom. I'm not so sure about this, because it does just encourage her to close the door and have that be that. And I didn't think it was possible for her life to shrink more than it already had, but it seems to be. And it's not a great healthy thing to be like sleeping and eating and doing the behaviors you shouldn't be doing and not be getting any sun. And her days and nights tend to run in together anyway because her sleep schedule is so off. And they're things that any one of those would be a warning sign for me that my mental health was not in a good place, and to keep an eye on it and try to work a bit harder to step out and to schedule myself and to keep an eye on what I was doing and my behaviors before it became something bigger. And I think she's at that point and she's not doing that.
Being total, like, just like smoking. What I've been watching non-stop Coffee House Crime. It's a YouTube channel. It is amazing. I don't know if you guys have heard of it, but if you like true crime, you'll like that one.
I'm not a fan of true crime, but it's kind of nice to have her talk about something benign she enjoys, to be honest. I like the name because it's got coffee house in, but I don't love true crime.
It reminds me of like true crime and like top fives, or I don't know. I know, people are worried about me, but...
Yeah, but she's not gonna begin this stream by clearly explaining for the people who are concerned, and she's just gonna string everybody along.
I need to make a schedule, so I'll let you guys know what it is when I have it.
She will never have it. Even when she has made schedules in the past, she's never stuck to them because she hates schedules, and I'm pretty... sorry. I don't know if that's a shadow, if I've got a smear. Never mind. She won't do a schedule. If she does it, she won't stick to it. Schedules aren't her thing. She does say a bit later, okay, well, I just want a video every day for you guys like I used to. Okay, that doesn't require a schedule. That's every day. Nothing changes. You don't need to be like, okay, Wednesday, Thursday, Saturday. She doesn't need to schedule. She needs to take action. And if she doesn't want to schedule, don't, but still take action. Don't use the planning as an excuse not to do the thing, which is something she's very, very prone to doing, and we'll see more evidence of as this video goes forward. Stop promising, because we know if you promise you won't follow through. Do the thing and then say what you're doing.
I need to work on that because I signed up for the, Hi, who's next? Last night I signed up for the Breaking Free, the online counseling kind of like program. The resources that the guy gave me from the assessment center.
That right there is more than I expected her to do. I'm glad she did. She does talk as if, I don't think she's lying in this case, but she does talk as if she's listened to a few things. And that's a positive step. I mean, I'm a little bit concerned, and when we get there, we'll talk about it, about some of the other stuff she says, but that was a thing we wanted her to do that she's done, so good.
And eating, I ordered more spaghetti meatballs yesterday, and junk food.
That doesn't surprise me. I mean, she's not, we'll talk in a bit, but she's not really getting off drugs, she's changing drugs, but being in her room all the time, being isolated like this, it just encourages her to do less and to indulge more. So it doesn't surprise me we're seeing more food. That being said, given that the main danger in the conversation at the moment is drugs of all kinds, legal and illegal, I would say that would probably be her focus rather than food. All of them are very consuming to her, but focus on one at a time, because she's so prone to focusing on nothing. I wouldn't want her to try and hit both when they're both difficult issues for her. They're all kind of stemming from the same plant, as it were, but tackle one at a time, I would say. So if it means eating, eat, but I don't love that she's just doing everything in one space now.
Been sleeping so much.
Yeah, well,
like
depression will do that.
4 or 5 in the morning and getting up at like 5 at night.
It's interesting that when she's actually showing clear signs of depression, maybe not a deep depressive episode, but actual depression. This is a symptom of depression when I get it. I start sleeping a lot, I start sleeping off schedule. I've actually been on a really poor sleep schedule recently, where I've been getting to bed at 4 or 5 and I've been getting up at 11 or 12. And I was really pleased that last night I was like, no, I went to bed by 11, I got up at 9. So it was a lot of sleep, but it was a lot healthier for me mentally than it had been in previous weeks. This being tired all the time, going to bed at odd hours, this is just, it's a reflection of what's going on mentally, but it also makes it worse. This run-in of day and night and not going out at all. And usually when she's using depression as an excuse, she'll be like, well, I've been so depressed. Well, this has been my issue. Well, you know, I can't do things because of this. But now that she's actually got a genuine symptom, she's not saying any of that. There's a clear difference here. And I don't think she's even necessarily acknowledging it as depression, because she's still so wrapped up in this come down from drugs era.
It's not an achievement. Yeah, so it was like, does this like diagram for you, and it goes through like different lessons and things that you can, I just in their face, like an action plan, like things you can do.
I'd be really interested to see that action plan. I kind of wish she had showed us, but I also understand that she hasn't. But this is what she usually gets bogged down in doing. It's the planning of it, and then in the process of planning, she just kind of loses momentum and doesn't do the thing. So it's interesting when she's like, I've got no help, I don't know what to do, I don't have a plan, no one's helping me. Now she's opened that up and she's got everything, and now what's going to happen? What excuse does she have now?
To help change it, I've been going through those lessons, and especially like the emotions part, like, yeah, definitely it's not something I want to do alone. Like, sometimes I feel like just being alone and not talking to anybody.
Yeah, that's part of your depression. And your avoidance of life in general. Like, that hurt just reminded me. Partly it's depression, partly it's the fact that if you don't talk to anyone, you don't need to deal with it. And one is not mutually exclusive to the other, but she runs away a lot, and this is just a case of her hiding in a lot of senses.
I'm not gonna be like, I need to stop with the junk. Yeah. And more recorded videos.
I'd love to see it, but I'll save my excitement for when I do. It would be a great thing and it would give us something to do, but you know.
I think the recorded video, like daily recorded videos, is what I want to go back to.
I'm here, please do. I'm waiting.
I'm very down. Oh, I'm not down, I'm just like kind of numb, Krista.
I think she's been high for the last however long. And yeah, it wouldn't surprise me that she's so slow at the moment, but man, she does seem like someone's turned the speed down.
You know what I mean? No, Sam, it didn't really do too much. Like, what you saw was like the peak of it, and then it just went like down from there.
Well, the police arriving will do that.
I think it's just because like I don't have much energy. Like I didn't do like anything for like how many days now? I've been in my room.
0 days.
So I'd like to go to bed at a decent hour today, and then like work on my to-do list here. And
Did she find her to-do list? Is this the same to-do list as she had before? I mean, she did technically, even if she only pushed the rubbish out of the way, she did technically do a thing. It would be really nice. Sometimes when you access help, even if you haven't had a lot of it, it gives you like a breath. It gives you a little bit of momentum because finally you're doing something, and sometimes accessing the help is the scariest thing. So maybe she got a little bit of energy from that, but it doesn't sound like this has been a great weekend for her.
Getting a video for you guys.
The last couple of days.
Yeah, my old number, like, I guess they're getting bothered a lot by.
I didn't realise she'd changed her number. Someone asked her, they said, I sent you a message, didn't get an answer, and she was like, oh yeah, my old number. I don't know if, she said she was starting to get bothered, but I'm not sure what was going on there. I don't know if maybe, and I'm not sure if this would be correct or not, but a potential, maybe her family were like, no, get a new number, don't let anyone contact you with the drugs thing. But that's pure speculation. I have no evidence for that. She's saying she was bothered. I don't know what went down, but apparently she's got a new number, and that's just a point of interest.
I have to give you my new number. Try to get some sunlight. Yeah, we need to go back on walks.
That'd be a good thing.
Eat healthy.
Or even those lamps, you know?
So that's just what I've been giving a lot of thought to, and I've been doing that.
Yeah. And the problem is she gets stuck in the thought and never the action.
Breaking free program gives you like coping tools, but yeah, I think I'd rather like talk to like a human, you know? So I'm gonna look into that too. I think I'm gonna like message that guy back, the coordinator back, and be like, do you have anything that's more like actual like one-on-one like close therapy? Because like he can refer me to programs, and there's like one that's like a women's group, so I want to see if I can get into that too.
Here's my issue with that. Not that she wants to access therapy, it's that I think she's using the search for the correct type of therapy the same way she uses I need to make a schedule. I think so long as she's caught up in the planning, we never actually have to get to the doing. And usually she would be like, no, I've got to plan this, no, I've got to look into this. But now she's been referred to this online program and it's got the action plan. She's like, well, I can't take action alone, I need closer, I need more help. That's not an invalid thing to say, but it doesn't settle right with me. It feels like it's just the same type of thing wrapped up in new wrapping. I think it's, well, I have all the things that I claimed to need beforehand, and now I want something else because I don't want to actually have to do it. And it's just another reason to not. And maybe I'm being a little harsh there. Like I said, I'm glad she accessed it. That was more than I was expecting. Also, when she said, like, I want to go to a group, she's never wanted to go to group therapy. She's several times spoken out about how she doesn't want to go to these places. With both her eating and her drug use, and how she wouldn't like it. But I also worry for the dynamics of the group if she were to join it, because she doesn't tend to be a good influence on others. But I imagine she's not the first person to join one of those groups that has those problems, but I would be concerned for the others rather than for her.
Hanging around, you know, like being in groups with like, or getting the numbers for other addicts. It's not like you can hold each other accountable because you know what you're going through, but it's also tempting.
And that's the thought process that makes me worry for the other people in recovery, because she's basically taking this as, oh, well, you see other addicts. And so she's looking at it for the opportunity to not do it rather than the opportunity to be in recovery and the support there. I think her use of the word accountability here as well, I think she's picturing something that isn't necessarily what the group work would be, but that might just be my ignorance talking rather than hers. I don't know. I have a bad feeling about her in a group setting, but I could be wrong and it could help her. So I wouldn't say, well, don't try because of that. But I think her picture of what would happen is maybe not complete.
Right? Because you're both the same. How many days sober?
None. You
What
have
day
had no
was it
days
that I was
sober.
at the hospital?
Doesn't matter. You've had no days
Well, you
sober.
can ask. I just can't remember what day. 7, 8. Remember?
Here's the thing. It's the 14th by my time. It was the 13th when she filmed this, I believe. She's counting, I mean, if you believe she's been off of the snow since the hospital, which is up for question because nothing she puts out is reliable, it's going to have to be up for question. But if you believe that, she has been high out of her mind since then on other substances. And she seems to count that as sober, because it wasn't the cocaine. And I'm just like, really? I wouldn't count that as sober. And I think she's just focusing because that's the illegal drug. And of course, you know, I mean, mushrooms aren't legal, they're decriminalized. But, you know, oh, the other stuff is legal. The other sort of stuff I bought, even if she didn't buy it from the official source and she takes it way too much. But I would not consider how we have seen her in the previous couple of days as sober. I consider her under the influence pretty much consistently since leaving the hospital, except when she was with her uncle, because she was describing having done other things. I would not count that as clean. I'd count that as off cocaine. I felt really something about this. I did. Because if she's saying, well, no, I'm perfectly fine because I've been sober, she has not been sober. She's just been on edibles and cannabis.
What question, Punisher? There's a whole bunch that people want to know.
Yeah, and you are not answering any of them. Saying what question there are lots is not an answer.
But all I can do is answer them, and
You're
people
not.
can believe or not.
No, there's nothing to believe or not because you're not answering them. You're avoiding answering them. There's a difference.
You know what? People shouldn't ask me about videos anyways, because I've been saying.
I love how she stops this and says, you know, well, people shouldn't ask because clearly I'm not reliable, essentially. And whether you count that as failure, which is I'm going to do videos, oh, I intended to, but I haven't, or whether you count it as a lie, no, I'm saying it to shut you up, but I'm not going to do it, it's still kind of horseshit to be there going, well, yeah, no, I know I'm not following through on anything I'm saying, but don't hold me accountable. You should know better. Like, there can be no accountability because you should know I'm unreliable. No.
For how long I'm going to do one, and then, I don't know, I'm so cozy, like, with my bed, and I'm honestly doing a lot of processing.
That is the world's biggest cop-out. And again, it's as long as I'm taking steps towards the thing happening, whether I do the thing or not, I'm making progress, so I'm technically not lying. I've been processing. No, you've been smoking, watching true crime, and eating. You've been avoiding processing by dulling your mind, filling your belly, and surfing the internet. That's not the same thing. And processing makes it sound so much more legitimate, doesn't it? I'm doing some real emotional growth, except she's clearly not.
The more I stay in my room, the more I don't want to leave. It's harder to leave because that's what I do, like...
Yeah, inertia breeds inertia. If you're not doing anything, everything is going to seem harder to do. And so this weekend's been terrible for her.
But that's what the breaking free was helping with, is talking about emotions and like how it doesn't do any good to just try to mask those emotions over and over, because it's like you have to remember, like, they're like, you have to remember that your emotions only get suppressed for as long as you're using.
Note that she's still using. She mentioned that she'd smoked something before this. She said over this weekend she did basically nothing but eat, sleep, watch that channel, and occasionally light one up. It sounds like she's really come to an epiphany, but no, she's been smoking through that whole thing. Is it cocaine? No, it's not. But is it sober? No, it's not.
As your next hit or whatever. So which is true, because like once you become fully sober, it's just like you're left with all those raw emotions.
True, but how would you know? You're still on cannabis, you're still on the edibles, you're still smoking. Like, she has no idea what her emotions will be. She just knows they're scary and she doesn't know how to deal with them. And that's something definitely, I'm not blaming her for needing a professional to help her with that, because really, when has she ever healthily dealt with her emotions? She's always had the food even before the drugs, or she's always lashed out, which led to a lot of the problems with her family. She's never had a coping mechanism, not a healthy one. I don't blame her, and I'm not surprised that she might need a little bit of help with it. But having read it and still be smoking and still be dulling her emotions and dulling her responses, she hasn't gotten there yet. So no matter how much she may realize, oh, that rings true to me, it's not actually useful until you implement it.
And dealing with them. So that's what I need help with, you know?
Which fair, get some help.
Therapy's all done on the phone, yeah, exactly. And I really like the therapist I was talking to, because like they really helped me with like...
She doesn't finish this sentence, she doesn't say what she really helped her with. And she only saw him once, so she didn't help him that much, you know? Or maybe twice, she might have said she spoke to her a second time. She's never been consistently to any therapist. And that therapist was, I think, for her eating disorder. And you could argue that addiction kind of goes arm in arm with kind of her relationship with food. I have argued that on several occasions. But it's just, you know, going into a different source with the drugs available. But it doesn't sound like, based on what she told us, like that therapist would be a good match for what she's currently facing. So again, when I say, well, without one excuse, she makes another. So I've got this counseling resource and I've got this action plan, but instead of implementing that, I want a therapist. So actually, I've got the opportunity for that. I can call the guy, he can put me into a group, or he can refer me to someone else. So actually now I want this therapist. Well, I can't have this therapist because this therapist doesn't specialize in what I need. So, oh, I don't want to go to a therapist. I don't want someone new, would be the assumed next step of that. There's always a reason not to do it if you look hard enough.
Actually, it's not as bad as I thought it would be. Like, right now, like, cause like, I don't have any cravings or anything.
She's been high for days. I'm not surprised.
Right now, I weighed yesterday, I was at 340.
Again, it doesn't surprise me with what she's been eating, and I don't think her focus, and I'm amazed I'm saying this, I don't think her focus should be on her weight right now. I think her focus should be much more the mental place she's in.
That was two Nashville chickens. It was 2 Nashville chickens ago.
Yep.
Yeah, I think the Ozempic, it helps for the blood sugar regulation.
I hate that we're still discussing the Ozempic. And I was enraged by what she said in a minute, so let's just...
Just what it's supposed to do.
Yep, that's what it's supposed to do.
The doctor was like, yeah, so Ozempic, you lose about 50 pounds on Ozempic.
Sorry, that's not true. Like, that's not...
what my doctor said.
That's also not true. Sorry, I kept stopping it, but I didn't mean to because I knew what was coming. She just said, in case the stops are a bit too hard to understand, that her doctor said she could lose about 50 pounds on Ozempic. There is no literature supporting that. There is no reason for her doctor to have said it. The literature said an average weight person, I can't remember what the number was. I remember looking it up when the Ozempic first came into the conversation, it was 12 pounds. Given that she's not the average weight person, I was like, I could believe 20, I could believe maybe even 25. But the average was 12 pounds in a year. And she said in her novel, in her letters from the ER, that she was attributing about 50 pounds lost to Ozempic. And I called bullshit on that then. I was like, no, you lost a little bit in the beginning and then you went on to the coke pretty fast. And remember, she was off Ozempic for almost a month in the midst of that. Her mum lost 20 pounds and she stood there and went, oh, is that all? While she was doing coke to lose weight and pretending it was the Ozempic. And to sit there and still pretend, how convenient that your doctor, who you see very rarely and have been actively avoiding and haven't been compliant in how you've been taking the Ozempic anyway, what a coincidence that your doctor happened to name the exact figure that you happened to name in your speculation in your ER note. I find that very convenient. I think it's a lie. I think you're attributing that and you're putting it in the name of the doctor so that we don't argue. There is no evidence for that. There is no evidence in the rate you lost, because 30 of those pounds out of the 65-ish you actually lost, you did over a 2-week period on coke. So based on your own weigh-ins, that doesn't track. And you haven't been seeing your doctor. So do I believe you had a conversation at some point and she might have said, well, you might lose more because because you're starting from quite a high start weight? Yes. But I don't think for a second your doctor said 50 pounds. I think you said it.
The first month I was on it and lost a good chunk of weight. I wasn't taking any drugs at all. So yeah, it did kickstart things. The Ozempic kickstarted, like it curbed my appetite.
Yep, it did. For the first month, you did not lose 50 pounds.
You guys don't remember that?
I remember that.
I
seem to remember that better than you do.
I should do things on camera, certain things.
Yeah, you should.
Because it's like advertiser friendly.
No, it's not. Here's the thing with advertiser friendly. In a minute, she's going to say, okay, I think I should do those things off camera, which wouldn't that be lovely? When you go into the back end of YouTube and you upload a video, right before it allows you to do your final details, it says, does your video contain any of the following? And there's some drop down menus of the things it might contain, or there's a checkbox at the end that says none of the above. Now, if you are honest with YouTube and you have a high accuracy in self-rating, they will rate your videos based on your word, essentially. They'll say, you've proven to be true in the past, we trust you, don't worry about it. And they'll enable monetization on your video instead of making you do a big long check after. Because they do an extra check now for copyright stuff, and it just takes a very long time to process your video that way. So now they're saying, it takes a little less man work, and it's just like, okay, we trust you, you good. I'm betting she's had more people reporting her streams just recently with all the drug stuff. So when she puts it up and it gets monetized based on her word and then demonetized again, it's usually because YouTube has a reason to go in and check it and be like, hey, this doesn't seem to match what you say. When your accuracy rating gets lower, they may take away the ability for you to make that decision yourself, and they'll just check all your stuff. So I'd be interested to see where she is in that process, because it's very easy to be like, nope, it doesn't contain any of it. Because if you say, okay, it contains that, there's a higher chance of being limited ads to begin with. And she did mention that her stream when she was outright smoking, the last one I reacted to, had been demonetized and she wasn't going to argue it. And then she did, and it got remonetized after a manual check, because you just go in and say, please check manually. And then I don't know if it got demonetized again, but it's now a question in her mind. And it sounds like the next time she came on and she was smoking, she was like, no, it got remonetized. It sounds like that one got demonetized. So I think there's something going on there.
When I want to do something non-advertiser friendly, I'll just go away from the camera and come back. How about that?
I love, she said, how about that? Like she's proving anything. Like, no, that's what we want you to do. Thank you. Or yeah, maybe don't do non-advertiser friendly things if it matters that much to you. But yeah, that'd be lovely. Thank you.
So videos that I smoke in, they monetize them and then they demonetize them.
Yeah.
So
either they get reported or something triggers in their checks after they've got a chance to look in closer, and so they demonetize it. But every time they do, it lowers her accuracy rating if it proves what she said is wrong. And once you've submitted that, once you've said, okay, there's nothing there, or there's this there, or this is there, it locks your rating. You can't go in and change it and say, oh no, well I told you that, because you're not allowed to access it afterwards. You've got one chance.
I don't think it's a good idea.
It's not a good idea.
Mega Bees are nothing. It wasn't the cops.
Lie.
No, I'm not worried about how many people are, like, people use
Guys, how nostalgic. It's the call to prayer.
that as, like, some kind of, like, blackmail. I don't understand. Like, you better get better or I'm gonna cancel my membership, as if that people have problems on purpose.
Wow. Talk about a recasting of what's going on there. Okay, she does understand this, but for anyone at home, she is offering us a product. In this case, the product is her life, is her videos. We consume that product, but the members, they're paying extra. And the only power anyone who consumes has is to say, well, I refuse to do that anymore. She does earn all her money from YouTube, and she has showcased a lot of behaviors that people find very problematic and very concerning. So just to call it blackmail, no. There is only one thing you can do if you feel that strongly, because she does not have a customer services. She doesn't have somewhere where you can log your complaints, because that would have been her comment section, that would be her DMs, that would be her other places, and she cuts all those off and she filters them heavily and she has moderators. And so the lesser attempts to sort of register your displeasure don't exist with Foodie. That's one of the reasons reaction channels tend to get more people, because they finally got somewhere they can talk. Whereas to call it emotional blackmail, no. It's the only card people have left to play to say, hey, I wanted to be closer involved with your channel, I wanted the chance to actually be able to communicate with you, I wanted to support you, but you've done something I can't support. You are showing no indication of real change, no willingness to engage in real change, and I'm going to withdraw that support. That's not blackmail, that's business.
No, seriously, like, people who are going through hard times don't deserve support from people.
Yeah, that's really a recasting of what's going on here. But
So,
you know, that makes it not her fault, so it's fine. Like, God forbid we think deeper about that. No, people are assholes, and that's the answer, because then none of the responsibility is with me.
want to leave, leave. I don't kiss people's ass and I don't beg people to stay.
Well, if you don't care, I don't care, so go!
I did nothing. Like,
It's never my fault. I do nothing. I am the world's victim. I lit up on stream and was incredibly concerningly high. But that wasn't my fault. How dare you? How dare you be concerned?
Peacock Butterfly. Hi Chantal, what can your audience do to help you reach your goals? Think about it and let us know.
Here was a really interesting question. Because, okay, you don't like what your audience is doing. What do you want us to do? What would you consider the correct behavior? That was interesting.
Thanks, Peacock.
She's got no
Butterfly.
idea. Look at the panic.
Yeah, I'll have to give some thought. I guess just watching my journey.
There's no journey, there's only a spiral. A journey implies a goal, a place, progress, working towards something. She's spiraling. We're watching movement, we're not watching journeys on this channel. Yeah? It'd be lovely if she had a journey. I would support the hell out of a journey. But that's not what she's doing right now. And she has no idea how to answer that question. She's like, support me is the only thing, but what people seem to be supporting is what you're currently giving us, and that's why they're withdrawing their support.
You know, and I guess just trying to be as positive.
Okay. Where has that led you? Where has that led you? We're trying to be useful at this point, but positive, I think you burned that bridge. Do something positive and we will positively support it.
Remembering that I'm human and I'm gonna mess up. Like, messing up is part of recovery. I'm not planning on messing up, but
she's very much preparing for it because she's not massively hopeful, which I can understand and actually do not criticize that much. I don't think she's fully committed, and I think deep down she knows it. So she's like, oh, well, I'm not planning it, but I think she's expecting it at the very least. This remember I'm human is interesting because I do think a lot of the time people do forget she's not a character in the world's worst play. she does actually have real feelings in there, and that it's a lot to take from the internet. And I think she forgets that she has a relationship with her audience, and I think she forgets that her audience are human as well. Yeah? And that we're not just a sea of haters and trolls, and that we connect with her with whatever. It may be a parasocial relationship, but it is a relationship. And that we're human and we get frustrated, and that we have opinions, and that we, you know, worry for her sometimes, or try and help her sometimes, or support her sometimes. And when she acts like this, that it has an impact on us as well. And that's something she's never really gotten to either.
I guess it would help to know what my goals are, wouldn't it?
Be very helpful. In all things, would be very helpful. What are you trying to do? Because I don't think she knows. She doesn't know what I mean, as a kind of vague thing, be thinner, get off drugs, I guess, but kind of not get off drugs, because I don't count anything legal as drugs, and there's a whole thing there. Like, be better is a very, very vague thing. Yeah, but she doesn't know what her goals are with her channel. She doesn't know what her goals are with the whole thing she's doing now. Yeah, make some goals. Not just in the, oh, okay, I want to lose weight. What do you want to do when you've lost weight? What? Because that leads to steps, and steps lead to progress. And so that action plan you were talking about earlier, go check it. What does it say?
So yeah, so it wasn't the cops, it was somebody ordering something to our place. So what I just do in that case is put a sign up saying we didn't order anything, and I just, like, when I'm up here I don't hear the door, so you're really not hurting us because it's not our restaurant, you're just hurting the restaurants.
That's a big old bowl of crap. Oh, let's look into it. Okay, it wasn't the police. It sounded like a very official knock. Yeah, we've heard it before. It had purpose, it had intent. Here's the thing, when you get an official visit, I've never been in trouble with the police, but you can tell the quality of that sound. It sounds different. I once had police to come to my apartment in Cardiff, and I knocked the door, and when I heard the knock, I didn't think, who's at my door? I thought, what's happened? Because you can tell it's something. And it turned out, where I lived, my apartment building had the same name as a street in the nearby council estate. And so they had come to my apartment thinking it was my address, when actually they had to be in the same named street. They needed a house. And we figured that out eventually. But that knock, I knew it was something. You're slightly, not exactly nervous because I haven't done anything, but you go in expecting it to be a thing. You can tell from how that knock happened. Secondly, she gets deliveries every day, multiple times a day. She orders food every day, sometimes multiple times a day. She gets Amazon deliveries constantly. There is no way she would have a sign up saying we haven't ordered anything. And why would you have that sign up? You weren't expecting it. You're going to put the sign up so you can't receive any of your other deliveries on the off chance someone might order something to your house. Man, if you're going to lie better than this. This makes no sense whatsoever. Oh, but it does have the bonus of showing people, oh no, you're just cheating at the restaurant, aren't you terrible people? Not only is it a lie, it's a lie that makes people that she doesn't really like look terrible in her audience.
For doing that. So if you do that, you're an asshole, but what else is new?
Yeah, but what else is new? Oh look, I found a reason that will not only blame people in my audience, will absolve me of responsibility. Unfortunately, I'm not great at keeping track of my own lies.
We don't answer the door, so...
Pete answered the door when the police knocked the first time, so clearly you answered the door.
Yeah, people did call the cops twice.
Roll your eyes because people are ridiculous. Now, there was some time between this because I cut it, but so you're saying it wasn't the cops, but people called the cops twice. We've seen them call the cops once on stream. So the cops were there. Yes, that's what you're saying. Aren't people ridiculous because they did it twice? So that was the second time the cops were here. So the cops were here. And then this is another thing she said in the next live stream that she deleted. I haven't seen that whole stream. I've just seen this clip up on Twitter. there's a clip of her going, yeah, stop calling the cops on people. So clearly the cops were there. And it's taken her this long to come up with a lie that then she immediately torpedoed.
Yeah, that's why we want to move. No, I'm not nervous about living alone.
And that's the end of what I'm willing to put into the react. She should be a little nervous about living alone because she doesn't seem to be making progress, and she doesn't have to go backwards very much to be incapacitated again. She's very much on the borderline there. We've seen increased movement and increased capabilities physically, but if her weight's going up, she doesn't have a lot of leeway there. She needs Pete's more than Pete's needs her. And it's interesting that she's like, yeah, we're gonna move. I'm not nervous about living alone. She was gonna leave Pete's because she was gonna travel, and then she was gonna go to her aunt's in Jamaica. The big idea was her aunt's in Jamaica, and that doesn't seem to be on the table anymore. That seems to have been a no. And she was planning everything about around the idea of basically abandoning all her problems in her life and going somewhere else where she wouldn't have them, when actually most of her problems are internal. So she will be moving with Pete's again, I think. I don't think if they move, I don't think she'll move in somewhere herself anymore. I think that arc might be over. That idea might be over. I think she's going to realise she needs Pete's there more. I could be wrong. She could just decide, no, I want somewhere myself. But I want my own place seemed to be fueled very much by the idea of the life she was going to live and the party she was going to have and the people she was going to have over and how she was going to travel. And I don't think mentally that's where she is at the moment, but we will see. Okay, everybody, I'm going to leave it there. I'm going to do some editing. I hope everybody had a wonderful time. I hope you enjoyed the react. Please like, please subscribe. I hope you have a great day. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.